Yuzhen Wanyang is pregnant. She keeps talking about giving the baby a proper title. She wants Howard's position as heir. Just agree with her for now. Later I'll smooth things over and give the heir title back to Howard.
Ha! I wanted my child to have both parents. But now it looks like I'll have to ditch the dad and keep the kid. Ever since Chi-yun brought his childhood sweetheart into the mansion, he's been favoring his concubine over his wife every single day. He even wants me to give up the heir position to the baby in his sweetheart's belly. When I refused, he threatened to divorce me.
Sister, have some tea. From now on, Wanyang will listen to both sister and my lord. I'll never compete with sister for his favor. After I give birth, the child will be raised under sister's care. Please allow me to enter the mansion and serve our lord.
The mother-in-law beamed with joy and quickly helped her up.
Yuzhen has always been sensible. Of course she'd agree. Get up, don't squash my precious grandson.
As long as you agree to let Wanyang into the mansion, I'll agree to anything. My lord, I am the head wife of this marquise's mansion. Expanding the family line is the most important thing. Why would I be jealous or not allow a concubine in? From today on, Concubine Wan, you must serve the marquis well. Mother. Concubine Wan is pregnant, so she can't serve my lord. The Marquis mansion has few heirs. Today is a happy occasion. As your daughter-in-law, I've decided to make my dowry maids, Chunyin and Kulu, into concubines. They will serve the marquis well and bear children for the mansion.
Wonderful. Yuzhen is truly virtuous. My son is so lucky. The marquise's mansion will have many descendants.
Mother, I'm not lustful. Having Wanyang is enough. No need to take any more.
I'm taking concubines for the mansion, yet you refuse to accept them. That's a slap in the face of me, the head wife. It's saying I didn't do my job right.
Yuzhen is virtuous and moral, yet you pick a fight over a newly promoted concubine. What kind of behavior is that? Yuzhen runs the inner household. She has the final say on taking concubines.
It's my fault. Forgive me, my lady. Thank you for agreeing. My lord.
The next morning, news of Concubine Wan's favor spread all over the mansion.
Miss, Concubine Wan is late. She must be banking on the marquis favor, not caring one bit about the morning greeting rules.
Sorry to keep my lady and sisters waiting. It's just that the marquis clung to Wanyang last night. I couldn't push him away. I told him to go to another sister's room, or to my lady's room, but he refused. He only wanted to stay with me. It's so embarrassing to say. The marquis said I'm heavy with child, so I don't need to strictly follow the morning greetings. Just showing up briefly is enough. Please forgive me, my lady.
My maids were grinding their teeth in anger. Chunyin and Chulu had sour looks on their faces, just watching Song Wanyang gloating.
Oh, I heard that in my lady's dowry. There's a pearl robe. It was part of the marquis's betrothal gift. The doctor said I overthink during pregnancy. Pearls can calm the mind. If I could wear it every day, surely mother and child will be safe. My lady is the head wife. For the marquis's offspring, you wouldn't say no, right?
When Xian proposed back then, there really was a pearl robe. But the pearls were pitifully small. To save face for the Chai family, I still accepted it.
My lady, the baby in my belly is restless. Wanyang is really panicking. Please, my lady, help me.
Li Yuzhen, it's just a pearl robe. Why are you making things so hard for Wanyang? That pearl robe, when it comes down to it, is the Chai family's property. Lend it to her until she gives birth, then she'll return it. How can you be so petty?
I was stunned for a moment. Someone open my private storehouse, bring that pearl robe from my dowry, and give it to Concubine Wan as a gift. No need to return it. Only then did Xian remember that this pearl robe had long been part of my dowry.
My lord, look, isn't it beautiful? Wearing it truly calms my mind. I feel so much better.
Yuzhen, it's my fault. I forgot this was your dowry. I'll find you an even prettier one. Okay?
No need. This pearl robe doesn't suit me anymore. It suits Concubine Wan perfectly. It's as if it was custom-made for her.
This main courtyard is so grand. So much nicer than my Chingy courtyard. The moment I walked in, I felt refreshed. If I could live here, it would surely help the baby grow better. My lady, ever since I entered this main courtyard, I felt much more comfortable. The baby has also settled down. Please, my lady, do me a favor. Let Wanyang stay in the main courtyard. And after the baby is born, I'll move back to Chingy courtyard immediately, all right?
Yuzhen, Wanyang is just enjoying the novelty. Just give in to her. It's only half a year. Once she has the baby, she'll move out. The Marquis mansion is desperate for heirs. Just go along with her wishes. Let her carry the pregnancy safely, okay? No matter where you live. You are still the head wife. My affection and respect for you won't decrease one bit.
Where I live doesn't matter. Since the Marquis says concubine Juan can live in the main courtyard, then let her live there. Move all my things to Jeoxia Pavilion.
Miss, a mere concubine dares to bully you like this. That's way out of line.
I'm not afraid of her going too far. I'm afraid she won't go far enough. Take the letter I wrote, by fast horse to the Grand Tutor's mansion, and give it to father. I'll make Qian regret everything.
Change all the plants in this courtyard. I don't like them. Also move all of Jufu's decorations to the side room and replace them with the ones I brought.
My lord, bad news. Multiple officials in court are impeaching you. They say you favor your concubine and neglect your wife, letting a concubine live in the main courtyard, and driving the head wife to a side courtyard. Now the entire court is full of criticism against you.
Useless bunch. It's all because you indulged her. Now all the officials in court are impeaching me for favoring a concubine over my wife, making me the biggest joke in the capital. Who leaked the news? Letting people get dirt on me? Now in the court, it's all criticism against me. Looks like I'll have to beg my father-in-law for help.
The next day, he went begging to my father.
Please, young man, announce me. Ningyuan Marquis Qian requests an audience with the Grand Tutor. I have an urgent matter to ask for help. A small gift, hardly worth mentioning.
The Ninjuan Marquis graces us with his presence. Might I ask what this is about? Could it be about that lovely story of you favoring your concubine over your wife? You came to beg me to smooth things over for you?
Grand Tutor, please save me. For Howard's sake, put in a good word for me in court. I know I messed up. I'll never favor a concubine over my wife again. Please have mercy.
You dare mention Howard? You favor your concubine over your wife, humiliating my daughter, kicking her out of the main courtyard to a side one. Now that you're in trouble, you remember Howard. Our Lee family not kicking you while you're down is already the greatest mercy. If you're unhappy with Yuzhen, go ahead and divorce her. No need to humiliate her like this.
It's you. You're the one behind this, no wonder. No wonder the impeachment never stops. I was stupid enough to come beg you. Where I live is none of their business, so I let her stay in the main courtyard. And they have to gossip about it?
My lord, just ignore them. We'll just close the mansion gates and live our lives. Who can tell us what to do?
This is all your fault. If you hadn't insisted on the main courtyard, would I have been impeached? A mere concubine, daring to live in the main courtyard? What status or face do you have? It's all because of this disobedient daughter.
Failed to teach her daughter properly. Failed to run the household strictly. Now even I'm being impeached. I'm so furious.
Father, mother, I know I was wrong. Please let me out. Wanyang was thoughtless. I'll discipline her properly.
If you cause any more trouble like this, your father says he'll kick you out of the family.
Don't forget, your biological mother is still in Pingyangbo Mansion. Be good, and listen. Then your mother will have a chance.
Kicked out of the family? Mother, I'll behave.
I'll never dare again.
My lady, Wanyang knows she was wrong. Please move back to the main courtyard. If you don't, Wanyang will kneel here until she dies at your door.
Ha ha ha! Get up, I'll move back. That's all there is to it. After that day, she kept her head down. Much more obedient?
Miss, is concubine one really scared? She's so well behaved now.
As if she's used to being spoiled. Why would she be scared? She's probably just waiting to sweet talk the Marquis into changing his mind, but I underestimated her.
Miss, bad news. I overheard concubine Juan and the Marquis talking. She said the baby in her belly is a boy, and told the Marquis to remember his promise.
What promise?
The Marquis said if concubine Juan gives birth to a boy, he would petition to make him the heir of Ninjuan Marquis. Miss, Young Master Howard was raised as the heir since he was little.
Give the heir title to the child. In Songwan Young's belly. Then what about my Howard? He was raised as the heir since childhood. Sent to Songshan Academy for his education. Mother and son endured the pain of separation. And it's all worth less than Chi Yan's. Casual promise? If he dares to petition for a concubine's son to be heir, then he can forget about being Marquise. The heir position of Ningyuan Marquise can only belong to my Howard. No one can take it away. If Chi Yan wants to replace him, don't blame me for being ruthless.
Yujin Wanyang overthinks things during her pregnancy. She always feels someone's out to harm her and the baby. So I just told her that I'd petition for the heir title after she gives birth. I know Howard is the rightful heir. I'm just humoring her for now. We'll talk after she safely has the baby. I've already written the petition. I promise you, I'll definitely make Howard the heir later.
Once the heir position is petitioned and granted, unless he commits a major offense, how could it be taken away and given to another? Chi Yan, who do you think you're fooling with that? If I refuse, what are you going to do?
Li Yuzhen, you are the head wife of this mansion. You need to think about the Marquise's heirs. After giving birth to Howard, you can't have more children. Wanyang is pregnant now. The most important thing is for her to give birth safely. I don't care what you think. I will protect the child in her belly no matter what. If your selfishness causes her to lose the baby, can you bear that responsibility?
Chi Yan, you seem to have forgotten. Without my Li family's help openly and behind the scenes, how did you rise so quickly and become the Ningyuan Marquis? If I didn't only have Howard, and for his sake as heir, why would my father have gone all out to help you? Do you really think all of this just fell from the sky?
Li Yuzhen, do you really think that just because you're the legitimate daughter of the Li family, you can do whatever you want in this mansion? The Ningyuan Marquis mansion belongs to the Chai family. I am the Marquis. I'll make whoever I want the heir. You hit me.
I lost my temper and struck out. I didn't mean to.
If you had just agreed from the start, would there have been this misunderstanding?
My lady! My lady! My lady! My lord! Our miss was a precious jewel at home. How could you raise your hand to her?
Just then, Song Wanyang walked in from outside. She gasped and covered her mouth, tears welling up in her eyes.
The Marquis got angry for Wanyang's sake. Please don't be upset, sister. It's Wanyang's fault for being thoughtless. But Wanyang is also a mother-to-be. Parents plan far ahead for their children. I only want to secure a future for the child in my belly. Sister is the Grand Tutor's legitimate daughter. Even if your child isn't the heir, he's still the Grand Tutor's grandson. Who would dare look down on him? But my child is a concubine's son. If he doesn't become the heir, what future will he have? My lady, please do this for me and my child. Please, Wanyang kowtows to you.
As she finished, tears fell. She knelt down with a thud, kowtowing and begging me to give up the heir position. Chi Yan helped her up, looking at her with great sympathy.
Don't beg her! In the Ningyuan Marquis mansion, I am the one in charge. Then he looked at me, his words cold. Yuzhen, if you are not virtuous and do not prioritize the Marquis's heirs, I can divorce you on the grounds that you disregard the Marquis's heirs and defy your husband.
As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was stunned. His mother, drawn by the commotion, rushed in and yelled, "Nonsense."
How can you talk about divorce? Is that something to say lightly?
The mother-in-law knew well that the Grand Tutor's mansion shouldn't be offended. If it came to a divorce, the Grand Tutor's mansion certainly wouldn't let it go easily. Moreover, because the reason for divorce would be the Marquis wanting to give the heir position to a concubine's son. If word got out, the Ningyuan Marquis mansion's face would be completely lost. I lowered my hand from my face and looked at Chi Yan. He could spoil his concubine to the moon and back. I couldn't care less. But if he tries to touch what belongs to my son, absolutely not. I will never allow it. The Ningyuan Marquis mansion belongs only to me and my Howard. I looked at him coldly and said angrily, Chi Yan, you want to divorce me? You don't need to go through the trouble. Today, because you favor your concubine over your wife, I will request to step down. I'll divorce you. From now on, you, the Ningyuan Marquis, can make whoever you want the heir. I won't stand in your way. After I divorce you, you can even make your favorite concubine your new wife, and let her son become the legitimate heir fair and square. But there's one condition. Howard is my son. I want him to leave with me. You, your beloved concubine, and your own child can do whatever you want. Chi Yan was taken aback.
He immediately refused. Howard is the legitimate son of my marquee mansion. How could he leave with you? If anyone leaves, it's you. The Chai family's legitimate son will never go with a mother who divorced out of the mansion.
I looked at him mockingly. Then I'll sue you in court for favoring a concubine over your wife. I can even go beat the grievance drum. Let the whole world see how the Ningyuan Marquis gives the heir position to a child who hasn't even seen the light of day. Then I turned and ordered the servants. Go back to the Grand Tutor's mansion. Invite my father and mother to come. I want to divorce the Marquis. Have someone inventory my dowry. Back to the Grand Tutor's mansion.
Kian muttered, How dare you? You, a proper Ningyuan Marcus's wife, would make such a fuss over a concubine as to seek a divorce?
I lifted my chin. Why should I be afraid? I walk straight and sit upright. If word gets out, people will say that I, the head wife, couldn't bear the humiliation and chose to leave. Compared to what the Marcus has done, you're the one who should be ashamed. With that, I flung my sleeve and left.
His mother stamped her foot behind him. Aren't you gonna go coax her back?
But Song Wanyang grabbed Qian's arm. My lord, sister is angry right now. Why not let her cool down first? Then you can comfort her. If she's still upset, I'll go apologize in person tomorrow. I'll kneel until she forgives me. He's angry right now. It's better to let him calm down first.
Qian hesitated and stopped.
Wanyang continued. But sister is the Grand Tutor's legitimate daughter. It's only natural for her to be a bit willful and spoiled. Unlike me, born a concubine's daughter, I've lived carefully since I was little, never daring to act out. How could I be as spoiled as sister? And she's the Grand Tutor's legitimate daughter. I'm afraid the Grand Tutor will come tomorrow to stand up for her.
Qian scoffed. A wife obeys her husband. Even if she's the Grand Tutor's daughter, can she defy her husband? That reasoning is wrong no matter where you take it. Even if the Grand Tutor comes, I'll say the same thing.
As if something occurred to him, he suddenly smiled.
Besides, the Grand Tutor left the capital recently on business. He's not in the capital. He probably won't be back for a month. This month will be enough for Li Yuzhen to understand what it means to be a wife and what it means to obey your husband.
The next day, Qi Yan sent a matron over. She took away the tokens and my authority to run the household. Song Wanyang got cocky. She replaced all the stewards and matrons. I used to use every purchasing job involving money. She replaced with her own people. Song Wanyang announced.
The Marquis's mansion isn't wealthy these days. My lady has been too extravagant. At this rate, even mountains of gold and silver will be used up.
She cut the servants' monthly allowances by half. She said I used silver to buy loyalty, and that would never be allowed under her watch. My legitimate mother ran Pingyangbo Mansion perfectly. I watched her since I was little. How hard could it be? Even without my lady running the household. I can run it just fine myself. My maids and matrons were furious. But I just took out silver from my dowry and had them buy food. We still lived well. A few days later, it was Qi Yan's superior's birthday, the Duke of Dingguo. In the past, I would pick from my private storehouse the most suitable gifts to send as birthday presents. Sure enough, Qi Yan came to my courtyard. He wanted me to pick from my dowry, like previous years. I laughed out loud. My lord, in the past I always picked birthday gifts from my dowry. I never asked the Marquis's mansion for a single tael of silver. Now it's a concubine running the household. A concubine manages the house. She's the future heir's mother. Why can't she come up with a birthday gift?
Qian's face turned dark. Why are you so jealous? Wanyang is a concubine's daughter. She has almost no dowry. If you take out your dowry, we can discuss the divorce again.
I turned away, no need. I won't give a birthday gift from my dowry, and the divorce is not up for negotiation. When Song Wanyang found out, she took full responsibility. She said she would definitely pick the most suitable birthday gift for the Marquis. He didn't need to worry. A few days later, I heard that Song Wanyang was going around smugly saying she had picked a birthday gift for the Duke of Dingguo. It would surely shock everyone. It would amaze the whole banquet. I had someone, while he was inquiring about the Duke's preferences, quietly let him know that the thing the Duke's mansion was most anxious about was having no heirs. After he got that news, his eyes lit up immediately. He started taking action. I listened to the secret guard, quietly bringing me information. When I learned what gift he finally sent, I almost burst out laughing. Truly, a concubine's daughter has such good taste. What a wonderful helpmeet for the Ningyuan Marquis. Since I was still the Ningyuan Marquis's wife, at the Duke of Dingguo's birthday, Qi Yan had to appear with me, and Song Wanyang for once didn't kick up a fuss.
She only said, my lord and sister, go ahead. I'll bring the birthday gift and arrive shortly.
The Duke of Dingguo's mansion was packed with guests. The birthday gifts filled the tables. The birthday banquet began. Only then did Song Wanyang arrive late.
She said to the Duke's wife with a smile, My husband asked me to present the gift. Forgive me for being late. I specially come to apologize to the Duke and Duchess. I offer a song and dance. She clapped her hands.
A pair of dancers wearing exotic costumes, in sheer wraps exposing their white waists, barefoot took the stage. They danced gracefully to the music. The guests below had never seen such charming dance. They were completely entranced. They cheered loudly. As soon as the dance ended, the Duchess said with a smile,
Wanyang is quite thoughtful.
So Wanyang led the two dancers forward. She smiled at the Duchess. This is the birthday gift I and the Marquise give to the Duke and Duchess. I heard the Duke's mansion has had no heirs. These two women were carefully selected as the most fertile, beautiful, and charming. Once they enter your mansion, they will surely bear many children for the Duke's mansion, to relieve the Duke and Duchess's worry about the future.
As soon as she said this, the whole room fell dead silent. The Duke's face turned ashen. The Duchess's expression soured. She stared straight at Song Wanyang, then let out a cold laugh.
The Ningyuan Marquise's concubine is truly so considerate to worry about the heirs of our Duke's mansion.
Qian had already stood up. Drenched in cold sweat, he apologized to the Duke.
It was my concubine's thoughtlessness.
Back then, the Duke had been wounded on the battlefield, saving the Emperor. He could no longer have children. So the matter of the Duke's mansion having no heirs was known to everyone in the capital, but no one dared speak of. Even though the Duke had no heirs, the Emperor remembered his life-saving grace. So the Duke's mansion had always been highly favored. It was the top noble family in the capital. Yet Song Wanyang so brazenly brought two women to give the Duke as concubines. She thought she was helping the mansion, but instead she slapped them in the face. Qian spun around. He rushed up to Song Wanyang and slapped her hard.
Wretched woman, get out of here now.
The surrounding ladies were already in an uproar.
I wondered why this year it wasn't. The Ningyuan Marquis' wife sending the gift. I heard that nowadays the Ningyuan Marquis' mansion is run by a concubine. No wonder she did something so stupid.
The Ningyuan Marquis favoring his concubine over his wife. Isn't the first or second time, wasn't the last impeachment enough? Letting a concubine's daughter handle such an important event. And she causes such a huge disaster.
How dare he? Isn't that a direct slap to the Duke's face? Let's see how the Ningyuan Marquis gets out of this.
Song Wanyang, after being slapped, tears fell. Yet she still pitifully tugged at Qian's sleeve, crying, "My lord."
When I was choosing the gift, I asked my lady for advice, but she wouldn't teach me. She kicked me out. She deliberately set me up to embarrass myself. My lord, you must stand up for me. It's fine if she's angry at me, but she can't disregard the mansion's reputation like that. And when I was asking about what the Duke likes, I heard his people gossiping that the Duke has no heirs. That's what gave me the idea. She did this on purpose to harm me.
Qian turned to look at me, embarrassed and furious. Yuzhen, you are the Ningyuan Marquis' wife. Because you did nothing. Wanam out of this mistake. She's young and inexperienced. She didn't grow up in the capital. How would she know how tricky gift-giving is in the capital? You knew she would make a mistake, yet you let her go ahead, ruining her reputation. You have such a venomous heart.
I stood up. My lord, who in the capital doesn't know that concubine Wan is your favorite? She runs the Ningyuan Marquis's household. The one who runs the household handles social exchanges. If she can't even handle a small thing like giving a gift, what ability does she have to run the household? And you go around saying that concubine Wan is smart and clever. You're perfect helpmeet. So why is it my fault when something goes wrong? She says my people were gossiping. Is that proof? How many times has she shifted the blame like this? Not exactly rare, is it?
Qian, humiliated and furious, snapped, Li Yuzhen, so you defy your husband, in front of outsiders like this, and you claim to come from a noble family? You still want to fight for Howard's heir position? What kind of child can a woman like you possibly raise? You venomous woman. I will divorce you!
Quite the imposing tone, Ningyuan Marquis. Let's see how exactly you plan to divorce my daughter.
A deep, familiar voice came from outside. I turned my head. It was father. He had rushed back from Jiangnan. Father's expression was serious. He walked to my side.
I received your letter. Father rushed back. Then he looked at Kaiyan. Ningyuan Marquis, you want to divorce my daughter for a concubine?
Qian's face darkened. I tugged father's sleeve and said loudly, "Father, I've already written the divorce papers. I want to divorce the Marquis. He favors his concubine over his wife. He even wants to petition for the heir title, for the unborn son of his concubine. He disregards his legitimate son. A man who doesn't know the difference between superior and inferior, who confuses legitimate and illegitimate. How can he be a husband? As soon as I said this, the crowd exploded.
No way! Is the Ningyuan Marquis insane? He actually wants to give the heir title to an unborn concubine's son.
You can't mess with legitimate versus illegitimate. How muddled is the Marquis?
Song Wanyang stroked her belly, tears streaming. The Marquis only feels sorry for me and my child, for our pitiful background. It's not like he committed an unforgivable crime. Besides, this is a family matter. Why does everyone need to gossip?
The Duchess gave a cold laugh. Ningyuan Marquis, our Duke's mansion truly cannot accept such a grand gift from your mansion. In the future, don't bother bringing such a concubine through our Duke's gates. Guards, show the Marquis's beloved concubine out. Oh, and those 2 dancers, throw them out too.
With that, she looked at the wife of Pingyangbo behind the crowd.
She smiled. Lady Pingyangbo, your Song family's upbringing is truly an eye-opener. Does Lord Song usually discipline his daughters like this? No wonder he let a concubine's daughter lose her virginity before marriage and seduce a married man.
Pingyangbo and his wife immediately stepped forward, sweating profusely as they apologized.
Pingyangbo gritted his teeth. Duchess, please understand. Ever since Song Wanyang refused to listen, had an illicit affair, and got pregnant out of wedlock, my wife and I decided to no longer recognize her as our daughter. We've decided to open the ancestral hall and expel this shameless person from the family. From now on, she is no longer part of Pingyangbo Mansion.
Song Wanyang pitifully threw herself forward. Father, mother.
Pingyangbo kicked her. I am not your father. The Song family has no such shameless daughter. Then,
He and his wife left without looking back. Song Wenyang, heavily pregnant, fell to the ground. She looked up pitifully at Qi Yan.
My lord, I really didn't mean it. I wanted to win face for you. My lord, you know Wanyang's heart has always been with you, but it's useless to say all this.
Qi Yan looked at the Duke and Duchess, sitting in the main seats with ashen faces. Then he looked at all the nobles in the room, looking at him with disdain. Finally, his face pale, he lowered his head.
Qi Yan knelt down. It was all the fault of that lowly concubine in my mansion. Please forgive me, Duke and Duchess. I will immediately divorce her and kick her out. Sell her off. I will never trouble the Duke and Duchess again. With a wave, he ordered the servants to tie up concubine Wan and take her away.
Song Wenyang was tied up by the female servants and thrown onto a carriage. Back at the Marquis's mansion, I had already ordered my dowry inventoried. I took the divorce papers and asked Qi Yan to sign.
His eyes bloodshot. Yuzhen, we've been married for years. I won't divorce you.
I smiled mockingly, looking at Wan Niang on the ground. If we don't divorce? What about her and the baby in her belly?
He said matter-of-factly, I trusted the wrong person in Wan Yang. She made a huge mistake. Now I've decided to divorce her. Sell her off. She'll never appear again. You will always be the head wife of Ningyuan Marquis Mansion. Our son will be the heir.
Meanwhile, Song Wanyang screamed like a madwoman. Qi Yan, you seduced me first, got me pregnant before marriage, knocked me up! And you said you'd make our child the heir. If you dare sell me off, aren't you afraid I'll spill everything about you?
No sooner had she finished than she received several slaps across the face. Blood trickled straight from the corner of her mouth.
Song Wanyang laughed. You hit me? You dare hit me? When you were sweet-talking me back then, you said I was innocent and charming, that I made your heart race. You said my lady was dull and boring, that you hated how stiff high-born ladies were. Now you're sick of me because I caused trouble. But Qi Yan, if you hadn't told me to go, seduce that mighty general, making him think he'd taken my innocence, how could you have stolen his military achievements? How did you become Ningyuan Marquis?
My eyes widened. So there was even this story behind it. Qi Yan had some nerve.
Qi Yan, I think you've truly lost your mind. Claiming military merits falsely, threatening generals, setting people up. Where is your conscience?
Song Wenyang's words thoroughly enraged Qi Yan. He pulled a sword from the rack. He stabbed it directly into Song Wenyang's belly.
Shut up, you mad woman. Go die. Only the dead can't spill secrets.
And so Song Wenyang died. I looked at the stunned Qi Yan and advised, I suggest that before anyone else finds out, you immediately petition for Howard to be the heir. If your crime comes to light, the Marquis's mansion might not survive. But if Howard is there, the mansion still has a chance. Qi Yan seemed to suddenly come to his senses. That very night, he submitted the petition for the heir. And citing illness, he resigned from all his court positions. He wanted to return to his hometown to recover. He also took along Song Wenyang's coffin. I watched him get on the carriage and said softly, if you don't cause any trouble, Howard will inherit the mansion without issue. You'll have nothing to fear for your life. If you dare try anything, I'll beat the grievance drum and sue you straight to prison. You'd better believe, with the Li family's ability, I can certainly do it. Qi Yan left. The old lady cried and threw tantrums. I used the excuse that she was too worried about her son and sent her to the family temple. When Howard returned from Songshan Academy, having completed his studies, it was late spring. By the capital's moat, willow catkins filled the long streets. The young man wore a moon-white brocade robe. His stature was already tall and straight. In his features, there was both the refined elegance of the Li family and the grand tutor, along with the steady, proper demeanor of a marquise's heir. Compared to the child who had been sent to the academy, reluctant to leave, he was now a completely different person. The day he returned to the mansion, I stood personally outside the marquise's vermilion-painted gate to wait. Seeing that familiar figure from afar, my heart was full of mixed emotions. Yet it only turned into a faint smile. Howard walked over quickly. He bowed.
His voice was clear. Mother, your son has returned.
I reached out to help him rise. My fingertips touched the cool brocade on his shoulder. I only said, "It's good that you're back. You must be tired from the journey." A welcome banquet had already been prepared, but it wasn't extravagant. Only a few dishes that Howard loved as a child were laid out, along with osmanthus wine I had brewed myself. At the table, Howard spoke in detail about the academy, about how his teacher taught him practical statecraft, about the debates and mutual improvement among classmates. He also said he had traveled with his teacher to various places, saw the people suffering, and understood the difficulties of the court. I listened quietly, nodding occasionally. In my heart, I grew more certain. Sending him to Songshan Academy back then, keeping him away from the inner courtyard's chaos, was the right choice. He hadn't been spoiled by the mansion's comfort, nor had he lost his sense of propriety due to the lack of his father's guidance. His grandfather's example in teaching, the years of hard study at the academy, had already polished him into a jade. After a few rounds of wine, Howard suddenly put down his cup. He looked up at me.
His expression serious. Mother, I heard that father returned to his hometown and has been unwell. Although his actions back then were wrong, he is still my birth father. Now that I have returned, should I send someone to visit him?
My hand holding the cup paused slightly. I looked up at Howard. There was no resentment in his eyes, only a child's sense of duty. That was enough. I gently put down the cup and spoke slowly. Howard, it is kind of you to think that way. It shows your benevolence, but you must remember, back then, your father, for the sake of a concubine, not only considered divorcing me, but also wanted to strip you, his legitimate son, of the heir position. He even, to cover up his crimes, personally killed Song Wanniang. Such cruelty and cold-heartedness. When did he ever truly care about you? His situation now is his own doing. When I let him leave back then, it was for the sake of our former marital bond and to preserve the mansion's dignity for you. As for visiting, there's no need. Since he said he's returning to his hometown to die, you don't need to mourn for him. Just respect his words. Your focus should be on the mansion, on the court, on the path you need to walk, not on someone who has long been irrelevant to you.
Hearing this, Howard was silent for a moment. Then he bowed and replied, I understand, Mother. What you said is right. I will remember it.
I knew he understood clearly. A hint was enough. I didn't say more. I just picked up a piece of his favorite crystal pork hock and put it in his bowl. Eat. You've traveled far. Don't ruin your health. After Hauser returned, the mansion's atmosphere became much livelier. Every morning he went to the Hanlin Academy for duty. Though only a junior 6th rank compiler, he worked diligently. He was careful with his words and actions. Plus, with his grandfather, the grand tutor's guidance, and a recommendation from his Songshan Academy teacher, he got along well with everyone at the Hanlin Academy. Even the senior academicians praised him highly. Everyone at court knew that Ningyuan Marquis Qiyan had long resigned and returned to his hometown. He no longer involved himself in politics. Now the Ningyuan Marquis mansion was actually run by me, the head wife. The heir Chi Hao was making a name for himself. With the Grand Tutor's mansion backing him, even without the Marquis at court, no one dared look down on them. But the tree may wish for stillness, yet the wind will not cease. In the 3rd year after Qian left the capital, news suddenly came from Jiangnan that he was gravely ill and near death. There was no one to care for him. Only one old servant stayed with him. They also said he called Howard's name every day, wanting to see him one last time before dying. When this news reached the capital, there was inevitably gossip at court, saying I, the head wife, was heartless, saying Howard, the heir, was unfilial, that he wouldn't even see his own father one last time. Even a few old officials, who were related to the Qi family, specifically sought out Howard. They urged him to consider father-son affection and go to Jiangnan quickly. Howard returned to the mansion with a grave expression. When he came to find me, there was some conflict in his brow.
Mother, there are rumors spreading everywhere in the capital. They say I am unfilial. Even several old ministers at court have come to urge me. It's not that I don't want to go, but thinking of what happened back then, I still have a knot in my heart.
I looked at him. I knew in my heart, although he had that knot, he also couldn't stand the gossip at court. After all, he was new to his official career. Reputation was especially important. I thought for a moment and said, Howard, I understand your difficulty. Gossip is frightening, especially now that you haven't yet firmly established yourself at court. You can't let this become ammunition for others. You may go to Jiangnan, but you don't need to go alone. Have the steward take several maids and guards go with you. First, to take care of your needs. Second, to see if your father's illness is real or not, or if there's another scheme. I paused, then added, remember this. Once you're in Jiangnan, just see him once, fulfill your superficial filial duty, and that's it. Don't let him manipulate you. If he truly is at death's door, have the steward arrange his funeral. Ship his coffin back to the capital. Bury him in the Chai family ancestral graves, which will be giving an account to the Chai ancestors. If he's faking it, trying to use this to control you, or to return to the capital, you come back immediately. For the rest, Mother will handle it.
Howard nodded. The conflict in his eyes faded. Only calm remained. I understand. I will not let Mother down.
The next day, Howard left with the steward and a group of servants for Jiangnan. After he left, I knew the rumors in the capital would get worse. So I simply shut the gates and stayed inside. Every day I just read and painted inside the mansion, or managed the household affairs. No matter how people outside talked, I ignored it all. My mother from the Grand Tutor's mansion sent someone to ask if I needed my grandfather to step in and shut down the rumors. I declined. I said, Mother, Howard has grown up. He needs to learn to face these things himself. Though gossip is scary, it's also a whetstone to sharpen him. Besides, a straight foot has no fear of a crooked shadow. We stand upright and act properly. Why should we fear what others say? Mother knew my temperament. She didn't say more. She only had servants send some tonics and told me to take good care of myself. On the 10th day after Howard went to Jiangnan, a letter came back. It said, Qiyan was indeed gravely ill. He was at his last breath. After seeing Howard, he only held his hand and said some words of regret. There was no other scheme. He didn't mention wanting to return to the capital. It also said that Qiyan's old servant said that Qiyan had lived a very hard life in Jiangnan all these years. He had always felt guilty. Guilty toward me, and guilty toward Howard. Every day he repented before the Buddha. I looked at the contents of the letter. There was no stir in my heart. I only calmly ordered the servants. Have the steward properly arrange Qiyan's funeral. Keep everything simple. No extravagance. After the coffin is shipped back to the capital, bury it in the Chai family ancestral graves. Another half-month passed. Howard returned to the capital with Qiyan's coffin. He wore plain mourning clothes. Though his face was somewhat tired, he was not sad. He only observed the mourning rites for Qiyan according to custom. The rumors in the capital, because of this trip to Jiangnan, gradually subsided. Everyone said, though young heir Qi Hao was loyal and righteous, though his father had faults, he still fulfilled his filial duty. He was a rare good child. Qiyan's funeral was extremely simple. Apart from a few distant relatives of the Chai family, few officials from court came to pay respects. After all, Qiyan, for favoring a concubine over his wife and stealing military achievements, had long lost people's respect. If not for Howard and the Grand Tutor's mansion, even the Qi family's distant relatives might not have come. After the funeral, Howard ended his mourning. He returned to the Hanlin Academy. After this incident, his reputation at court became even better. The emperor also heard of his conduct. He was quite pleased. Soon after, he was promoted to senior 6th rank lecturer. He often had him enter the palace to lecture the princes. For Howard, just starting his career, this was already immense favor. Everyone at court saw this. They understood in their hearts that heir Qi Hao's future was boundless. The mansion's days passed quietly like this. Howard steadily advanced at court. I managed the household affairs. I ran the entire mansion in perfect order. Everyone in the mansion held me in awe and respect. The two concubines, Chunyan and Qulu, after Song Wanyang's death, had always been well-behaved, never fighting for favor or being jealous, nor did they meddle in household affairs. Every day they just stayed in their own courtyards reading and tending flowers. Occasionally they came to pay respects to me, always respectfully, I treated them quite generously. I gave them their monthly allowances as per regulations. Never short. But these peaceful days did not last long. In the second year after Qi Yan's death, a major event suddenly happened in the capital. The mighty general who had been framed by Qi Yan back then actually returned from the border. This mighty general was named Xiao Che. Back then, he was one of the few fierce generals at court, brave and skilled in battle. He had guarded the border for many years, repeatedly performing extraordinary feats. Back then, to steal his military achievements, Qi Yan schemed to have Song Wanyang seduce him. He made him mistakenly believe he had defiled Song Wanyang's innocence. Then Qi Yan used that as blackmail. He forced General Xiao to hand over his achievements. He also took the chance to demote Xiao Che to a bitter cold border post. He was never to return to the capital. All these years, Xiao Che suffered greatly at the border. Yet he never gave up searching for evidence. He wanted to clear his name. Every year, the emperor sent imperial censors to inspect the border. Xiao Che submitted petitions many times, telling of his injustice. But Qi Yan's scheme back then was meticulous. And with Pingyangbo Mansion's help, not much evidence was left. So the matter was suppressed. Until last year, when Qi Yan died of illness in Jiangnan, a minor official who had helped Qi Yan back then was thrown into prison for committing a crime. To atone for his crimes, he spilled the whole story of Qi Yan framing Xiao Che and stealing military achievements. He gave it all up. He also handed over the letters that Qi Yan had exchanged with him as evidence. When the emperor learned of this, he was furious. He immediately ordered that the minor official be brought to the capital for interrogation. He also sent censors to Jiangnan to investigate Qi Yan's actions back then. After the evidence was conclusive, he issued an edict summoning Xiao Qie back to the capital, restoring his official position, clearing his name. The day Xiao Zhe returned to the capital, the entire capital emptied into the streets. The common people all came out to welcome this general who had been wronged for so many years. He wore silver armor. He had a robust build. His face was resolute. Only in his eyes there was a hint of coldness from having weathered many hardships. He was completely different from the spirited general of years past. The first thing Xiao Zhe did after returning was to petition the emperor. He wanted Qi Yan's crimes prosecuted. Even though Qi Yan was dead, he still wanted his Ningyuan Marquis title stripped, to move his body out of the Qi ancestral graves, to flog his corpse 300 times. As a warning to others, the emperor, considering Qi Yan was already dead, and considering Hauer's current excellent performance at court, and that this matter had nothing to do with Hauer, hesitated somewhat. So he summoned Grand Tutor Li and several important ministers to court for discussion. After returning to his mansion, my grandfather came to find me at the Marquis's mansion. With a grave face, he said, "Yuzhen,
General Shu has been wronged for many years. Now that his name is cleared, he must hate Kai Yan to the bone. He insists on stripping Kai Yan of his title, moving his grave and flogging his corpse. The emperor considers Hauer's position. He's hesitant, but General Shu commands a large army. He's guarded the border for years. He has the army's deep loyalty. The emperor doesn't want to offend him lightly. This matter is quite tricky. If not handled well, not only will Hauer's heir position be in danger, even the Marquis's mansion might be doomed."
I looked at my grandfather. My heart was already calm. Although this came suddenly, it was still within reason. The sins Qi Yan committed back then would eventually have to be paid for. I just didn't expect it to implicate Hauer. I thought for a moment and said, "Grandfather, I know this matter is tricky, but General Xiao's grievance is indeed real. Qi Yan's actions back then deserved 1,000 deaths. Now the emperor hesitates. It's only because of Hauer. And the mansion, if we blindly protect Qi Yan, refusing to let him be punished, it will only make General Xiao hate more. It will also make the court officials think our Grand Tutor's mansion and Marquis' mansion are using our power to pervert justice. In the end, it will only harm Hauer."
Grandfather looked up at me, with some surprise in his eyes. "So what do you suggest?"
My meaning is this. Take the initiative to petition the emperor. Strip Qi Yan of his Ningyuan Marquis' title. Move him out of the Qi ancestral graves. Bury him with commoners' rights. I said each word clearly. Qi Yan's crimes are his alone. They have nothing to do with Hauer. Nothing to do with this mansion. We voluntarily admit the fault. Voluntarily accept the punishment. That will give General Xiao justice. It will also show the emperor and the court that we can distinguish right from wrong, that we don't pervert justice. This way, Hauer's heir position can be preserved, and the Marquis' mansion can be saved."
Grandfather heard this. He was silent for a moment, then he nodded. "You're right, Yuzhen, you've thought this through more clearly than I did. We'll handle it as you suggest.
The next day, I, in my capacity as the head wife of Ningyuan Marquis Mansion, wrote a petition. I submitted it to the palace. In the petition, I stated plainly that Qian's actions back then were extremely evil. He deserved to die. I begged the emperor to strip Qian of his Ningyuan Marquis title, to move him out of the Qi ancestral graves, bury him with commoners' rights, to comfort General Xiao's grievance, to rectify the court's principles. At the same time, Howard also submitted a petition. In the petition, he made clear that he was drawing a line with Qian. Qian's crimes were his alone. Nothing to do with him. He would surely remember the emperor's grace, fulfill his duties faithfully, serve the country. He would never repeat Qian's mistakes. After the emperor saw the petitions from mother and son, he was greatly pleased. He praised me for being principled, praised Howard for knowing right from wrong. He immediately issued an edict to strip Qian of his Ningyuan Marquis title, move him out of the Qi ancestral graves, bury him with commoners' rights, bury him in a potter's field outside the capital. At the same time, the emperor, considering Howard's talent and character, and considering that I, the head wife, managed the household well and was principled, issued an edict making Howard the new Ningyuan Marquis, hereditary without end. He would continue to govern the Ningyuan Marquis Mansion. As soon as this edict was issued, no one at court objected. Although General Xiao still had hatred in his heart, seeing that mother and son had voluntarily accepted the punishment, and the emperor had already issued the edict, he said no more. He only petitioned the emperor to return to the border, to continue guarding the nation's gates. The emperor gladly agreed. After this matter, Howard's position at court became even more solid. The emperor valued him more and more. Soon after, he was promoted to junior fourth-rank supervisor of the household of the heir apparent. He entered the crown prince's household. He became a close minister to the crown prince. And thanks to this incident, the Ningyuan Marquis Mansion washed away the disgrace left by Qian. It once again earned the respect of the court. The people in the mansion were even more convinced by me. Everyone knew that I, the head wife, not only had great wisdom, but also a big-picture perspective, able to stabilize the mansion in times of crisis and protect the heir's future. After Howard was enfeoffed as the new Ningyuan Marquis, according to custom, an investiture ceremony was to be held again. The emperor specially decreed that the ceremony be held grandly, to show his favor. On the day of the investiture, Howard wore a purple gold python robe. He wore a marquis's crown on his head. He entered court to receive the edict. He was incredibly glorious. After returning, Howard bowed to me.
His eyes were full of gratitude. Mother, if not for your sense of principle and decisive action, I would today likely be ruined. The mansion would be gone. That I have today is all thanks to Mother.
I helped him rise. I looked at him in his marquis's robes, imposing and dignified. My heart was full of comfort. Howard, you don't need to thank me. This is all because you've worked hard. You must remember, what you have today was not easily won. Don't be arrogant or complacent. Even more, don't forget your original intention. An official must be diligent and love the people. Be loyal to the emperor and serve the country. Protect your true heart. Walk the right path. Only then can you protect the mansion, protect your future, and be worthy of the emperor's favor, worthy of your grandfather's teaching, worthy of your mother's expectations.
Howard bowed and replied, Your son will always remember Mother's teachings. I will be diligent and love the people. Be loyal to the emperor and serve the country. Protect the mansion. Not fail Mother. Not fail the emperor. Not fail the world.
After the investiture ceremony, the mansion welcomed new vitality. Howard became the new Ningyuan Marquis. He also entered the crown prince's household, becoming a close minister to the crown prince. Officials who came to the mansion to curry favor came in an endless stream, but Howard remembered my teachings. He remained low-key, careful with his words and actions. He politely declined those officials who had ulterior motives. He only associated with those of upright character who were dedicated to the country. And I remained that uncontentious head wife of the mansion. Every day I just managed household affairs, taught the younger generation. Occasionally I gathered with my mother and grandfather from the Grand Tutor's mansion. Life was peaceful and stable. Spring went, autumn came, time passed. In the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. In these 5 years, Howard's position at court became increasingly prominent. From supervisor of the household of the heir apparent, he was promoted all the way to senior second-rank minister of rights. He became an important minister at court. He not only had the deep trust of the crown prince, but also the emperor's high regard. He was sent many times by imperial order to inspect local areas. He showed empathy for the people's condition. built water conservancy projects, reduced taxes. He did many good things benefiting the country and the people. He was deeply loved by the common people, and his marriage became the focus of attention in the capital. Howard was already 25. He had long reached the age for marriage. Many nobles in the capital wanted to marry their daughters to him. Even the emperor intended to betroth a princess to him. But Howard had his own plans. He once told me
that he wanted to marry a woman of good character, upright, gentle, and virtuous. He didn't seek a prominent background. He only wanted someone who understood his heart, who would stay with him for life, someone who could help him take care of the mansion, and be filial to me, his mother.
I knew what was in his heart. I didn't push him, I only said, Howard, when it comes to your marriage, mother will naturally follow your wishes. As long as she's a woman you like, and of upright character, mother will have no objection. Later, at a literary gathering, Howard met the legitimate daughter of the Minister of Personnel, the Shen family. Shen Qingyuan. This Miss Shen came from a scholarly family. She had read extensively since childhood. She was upright, gentle, and virtuous. She was also beautiful, well-educated, and sensible. She and Howard hit it off right away. They understood each other's hearts. Howard brought Shen Qingyuan back to the mansion to see me. I took a liking to this girl at first sight. Her behavior was dignified. Her speech was appropriate. She faced me neither humble nor arrogant. There was some liveliness in her eyes, and also some calmness. Standing next to Howard, they were a perfect match. Extremely well-suited, I immediately agreed to this marriage. The Grand Tutor's mansion and the Shen family also had no objections. The emperor was also quite pleased when he learned of this. He issued an edict granting the marriage. He betrothed Shen Qingyuan to Ningyuan Marquis Qihao. He also rewarded a lot of dowry. To show his favor, Howard's wedding was extremely grand. Everyone in the capital came to offer congratulations. The emperor also sent the crown prince to observe the ceremony. For a time, the Ningyuan Marquis mansion was unmatched in glory. On the day of the wedding, Howard wore a bright red wedding robe. He led Shen Qingyuan with a red silk ribbon into the Marquis's mansion. During the wedding ceremony, Howard's gaze toward me was full of tenderness and gratitude. I looked at him, tears in my eyes. My heart was full of relief. My Howard has finally grown up. He has his own family. He has someone to spend his life with. After the wedding, Shen Qingyuan, as I had thought, was gentle and virtuous, well-educated and sensible. She managed the household affairs in perfect order. She was even more filial to me. She came to pay respects every morning and evening, never missing a day. Everyone in the mansion praised her endlessly. I watched Howard and Shen Qingyuan loving each other and living in harmony. The heavy stone in my heart finally fell. I knew the mansion's future, with Howard and Qingyuan there, would surely get better and better. After Qingyuan married into the mansion, I gradually handed over the household management to her. I myself stepped back behind the scenes. Every day I just gardened, read and painted, or, together with Qingyuan, taught the younger generation. Life was leisurely and comfortable. The two concubines, Chunyan and Qulu, seeing the mansion flourishing, and Howard and Qingyuan loving each other, became even more well-behaved. They had no children. I asked Qingyuan to treat them generously. When they grow old, the mansion would take care of them until the end. The two concubines were quite grateful. 2 more years passed. Qingyuan gave birth to a son for Howard. They named him Qinyanan. The name meant peace and smooth sailing. Little Nyanan was as lovely as a carved doll. In his features, he resembled both Howard and Qingyuan. Extremely cute. When the emperor learned of this, he was overjoyed. He rewarded many treasures. He also issued an edict making Nyanan the legitimate eldest grandson of the Ningyuan Marquis mansion. Little Nyanan's birth added even more vitality to the mansion. Everyone in the mansion was immersed in joy. I held this soft little grandson in my arms. My heart was full of tenderness, looking at him. I seemed to see Howard from years ago. I also seemed to see the mansion's even brighter future. That year's Mid-Autumn Festival, the mansion held a family banquet. My grandfather from the Grand Tutor's mansion, my mother and the Shen family's parents all came. During the feast, there was laughter and joy. Everyone was happy and harmonious. Howard held Qingyuan's hand. He held little Nyanan and walked to me.
He raised his cup and said, "Mother, today is mid-autumn. The whole family is reunited. Your son offers a toast to Mother. Thank you for raising me all these years. Without Mother, there would be no me today. No mansion today. May Mother have blessings, long life, and good health. Year after year."
Qingyuan also held little Nyanan and bowed to me. Mother, your daughter-in-law also toasts you. May Mother be healthy, and always smile.
Grandfather and mother also raised their cups. They wished me blessings, long life, and good health. I looked at this scene of the whole family together. I looked at Howard and his wife, loving each other. I looked at my soft, adorable little grandson. I looked at grandfather and mother, all smiles. My heart was full of happiness and contentment. Over the years, from Chi-Yan favoring his concubine over his wife, to Song Wen-young stirring up trouble, to Chi-Yan's ruin and death in Jiangnan, to Howard making his mark and becoming the new Ningyuan Marquise, the mansion weathered many storms. In the end, the clouds parted and the moon shone. In my life, though I met the wrong man, married a cold-hearted man like Chi-Yan, I also gave birth to an excellent son like Howard. I gained a filial daughter-in-law like Qingyuan, and I have an adorable grandson like Nianan. Even more, I have my grandfather and mother's support, and the respect of everyone in the mansion. I can consider my life complete. I raised my cup. I drank it all in one go. The wine went down my throat. It was full of sweet clarity. I looked at everyone before me and said with a smile, "Good, good. The best thing is to have the whole family together. May our mansion, year after year, be peaceful and smooth. May my Howard have a thriving official career. May he serve the country. May my Nianan grow up healthy and live up to his youth." Moonlight streamed through the window lattice. It spilled into the room, falling on everyone, gentle and beautiful. In the mansion's courtyard, the osmanthus flowers were in full bloom. Their fragrance spread everywhere, drifting with the wind, drifting far away, as if telling the story of this mansion. Telling how I, an uncontentious head wife of the mansion, in the midst of storms, protected my own child, protected everything of the mansion, and finally welcomed my own, bright and flourishing life. The days ahead will surely be like this mid-autumn moonlight, gentle and serene. Year after year, and I will always guard this mansion. Guard my family. Watch Howard rise step by step. Watch Nianan grow up healthy. Watch the mansion pass down through generations, forever prosperous.